Hey everybody, it's Shadowstar and Crystal here for another review of The Flash. This time it's Abracadabra.
Yeah, so we got our meta of the week, but he knows stuff about Savitar, so we try to get him to tell us, and he almost tells Joe, but then Gypsy shows up, so it's kind of her fault.
Yeah, pretty much. This episode was alright. I mean, I don't hate it or anything, it's just not one of the bigger ones, because it's a lot of standing around debating, what do we do, what do we do, what do we do? He's going to tell us, no he's not. Back and forwards, back and forwards.
Yeah, not a lot actually.
There's always the debate of was he actually going to tell them? We never really know. And
he literally said Savitar is, and then Gypsy showed up.
Well, I'm always curious how he even knows who Savitar is, and I'll explain that in 2 episodes. But for now, we won't say anything, but apparently he knows. He knows all about Savitar and Zoom and Thorn and DeVoe and everyone.
Well, when you get to the 64th century, maybe crap like that becomes knowledge.
How? That's like... How do you... wouldn't knowledge be lost after 6,000 years? Or 4,000 years?
Nah.
But he wants to get... So, interesting thing. So, I'm trying to wrap my head around time travel. So he builds a time machine, and at first Cisco's like, oh, he used the components I used. But he doesn't make a time sphere. He makes a machine that looks a lot like the jump ship from the Wave Rider.
Yeah.
But the more interesting thing is, Barry's like, well, he's got to open a wormhole. Why? What is the different types of time travel mechanics you could have in this universe? Because the Wave Rider, or any other Wave Rider we've seen, doesn't make a wormhole or anything.
Well, despite it looking like the Wave Rider, it's probably more similar to the Time Sphere, which needed Barry to make the wormhole to throw it in.
But that's the interesting thing is, though, that one isn't a wormhole. That's a Speed Force hole. You're using the Speed Force to time travel. I can wrap my head around that. This is like a whole different time wormhole that somehow his ship can open on its own. It did it on its own without the use of a speedster. Even when Eobard took Damien to the future, he used a time sphere, and a time sphere to me isn't a time machine. It's probably just a machine that can help you withstand traveling through the Speed Force time travel if you're not a speedster.
Good point.
That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, but then you've got machines like the Wave Rider which don't. They just go to the temporal zone. So like, there's like, how many? That makes 3. There's Speed Force time travel. There's this miscellaneous wormhole that's never seen before or since, and then there's going in and out of the temporal zone. Can you guys please get your time travel mechanics on track?
Yeah, speaking of time travel, Barry said he's going to the future.
Yeah, next episode Barry wants to go to the future, but we'll worry about that next time. And then, of course, the only other side plot is, well, we've got Gypsy stuff. Cisco and Gypsy are still at each other. They don't know what they're going to do because stuff.
Also, Caitlin's, like, dead.
And Caitlin dies and then becomes Killer Frost. Properly becomes Killer Frost. Because if you'll notice, the episode that's called Killer Frost, she never truly became her. She was kind of halfway through. Because in that episode, her hair never went full white, whereas here it does.
Yeah.
So yeah, Caitlin dies and becomes Killer Frost. Barry wants to go to the future, and Abracadabra knows all the villains of the first 4 seasons. So yeah, that's that. And this episode was alright.
He spoiled next villain.
But this episode was alright if it wasn't.
Wait, that implies that even in a timeline where Iris dies and all that, DeVoe still becomes a big villain.
Yeah, we'll explain more about that when we get to next season, but it's, I don't know, there's somehow a timeline like that. Which raises even more questions when we get to next episode, actually.
Yeah.
But I don't look, the Savitar timeline's interesting to think about. But yeah, I'm going to go 7.5. This episode could have been better if they focused more on Abracadabra being a fun villain and less on the debating what we should do. The debating kind of slowed down the pace of the episode, you know, because Abracadabra feels like he could be a fun villain if he didn't spend half the episode sitting in a jail cell saying, I might tell ya.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, 7.5 is right.
Yeah. Anyway, what's the next episode called?
The Once and Future Flash.
Ugh. I'll get into the massive next episode. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of interesting things to think about next episode, that's for sure. But anyway, we have only 5 episodes left of the season.
Okay.
5 episodes left. We're really starting to get down to the wire with a lot of these seasons.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll see you next time for more Flash and other things as well.
See you next time, guys.